very interesting. Welcome to the Oakland Mayor and Council meeting, Wednesday, June 12th, 2019. Roll call.
Mayor Schwager.
Here.
Councilman Bialy.
Here.
Councilman Knapp.
Here.
Councilman Kamala.
Here.
Councilman Levy.
Here.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Here.
Councilman Talamini absent.
Any motion?
I
move
motion
to,
we excuse Councilman
excuse
Costello.
One motion, 1 second.
Second, whatever.
All in favor?
Aye.
So before we begin, I ask that everyone look at your cell phones and make sure the sound is mute. It's either on vibrate or it's turned off. I also ask that you please refrain from texting, because texting could be construed as a violation of the Open Public Meetings Act, back and forth. It's also very distracting, disruptive, and extremely discourteous. And because we have such a full agenda tonight, a very full agenda, we have a lot of students here, we're going to limit the public portion of the meeting 3 minutes per person, which is in our bylaws, and we've been pretty lax, but because there are so many people that want to speak, and we want to give everybody the opportunity to speak, we're going to limit each person, not each group, but each person 3 minutes. Also, the public portion is not a debating session. It's not a back and forth. It is for the public to speak and let the council hear you. I've asked the council people to make notes so that if they want to respond, they will respond during the, under new business, which is later on in the meeting, or during their individual committee reports. So this way we can keep the meeting going and the students can go home at a reasonable hour, because it is an extremely full agenda. And if you also notice, we're also getting a presentation on how to use our new computers. Though one of the high school students probably could have done it for us. But we ask for that courtesy on your part if you speak 3 minutes. Also, as Councilman Bialy stated, if you come up to the podium, the speaker is at the ceiling right above your head. And you just have to speak and it will be carried. We all have microphones and speakers on our desk. At this time, I ask you to stand for a salute to the flag and a moment of silence. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
No, remain standing. A moment of silence. Be seated. This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law, duly announced, advertised, and posted in the municipal building. And at the beginning of every meeting, I make a mayor's report. Tonight, I'm starting my mayor's report with a proclamation. This is the proclamation. It's going to be posted on our website and Facebook page, and it is signed by me as mayor, but it is from the mayor and council. Whereas 50 years ago, on June 27, 1969, the New York City Police Department raided the Stonewall Inn, a bar that was frequented by members of the lesbians, gay, bisexual, transgender, and questioning or LGBTQ community. And whereas the Stonewall riots marked the beginning of the liberation movement that transformed the oppression of LGBTQ people into calls of pride and action, and LGBTQ Pride Month, where we commemorate the events of June 1969 and commit to achieving equal justice under the law for LGBTQ Americans. And whereas Oakland has a proud LGBTQ community from all walks of life, which has the right to feel safe and not live with fear of harassment and persecution, and not to be discriminated against. And whereas LGBTQ youth are 4 times likely to attempt suicide than their straight peers, and more than 1/3 of LGBTQ youths have attempted suicide, and 9 out of 10 LGBTQ youths report harassment at school, and 3/5 report feeling unsafe at school. And whereas all people deserve to live with dignity and respect, free from fear and violence, and protected against discrimination, regardless of their gender identity or sexual orientation. During LGBTQ Pride Month, we celebrate the pride legacy LGBTQ individuals have woven into the fabric of our nation. We honor those who have fought to perfect our union, and we continue our work to build a society where every child grows up knowing that their country supports them, is proud of them, and has a place for them exactly as they are. Now, therefore, the mayor and council of the Borough of Oakland do hereby proclaim June 2019 as LGBTQ Pride Month in the Borough of Oakland. In our municipal building, and it will be posted on the website and our Facebook page for all to read, and it has our borough seal. I'm keeping my mayor's report very short. I just want to announce that the Bergen County First First Unity Community Event will be held Sunday, June 30th, from 11 o'clock to 4 o'clock at the Overpeck County Park in Ridgefield Park. It's sponsored by the Bergen County Crisis Intervention Team, and it's a growing partnership between law enforcement and mental health. And apparently, you can get information on the Bergen County website. They have rides, they have games, they have activities, they have food. It's supposed to be an energetic countywide event. And one of the sponsors is Care Plus of New Jersey, all the hospital and community services of Bergen County. So if anybody's interested, I have more information. Or again, you could go on the Bergen County website or Facebook page. So at this time, I will entertain a motion to open to the public.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
The podium is yours.
Hello, I'm Allison Fleeson, 59 Seton Hall Drive. I have here a letter. Oakland, New Jersey has always been a strong, small-town sense of community that allows families to thrive. In recent years, and since the Stonewall riots of 1969, members and allies of the LGBT plus community have gained the strength to fight for their equitable rights in the United States. Though society is slowly shifting to be more accepting of all people, many people in the community still face adversity and sometimes even death. Displaying pride representation during Pride Month 2019 would show all Oaklanders and visitors that as a town we are open and accepting of all people. Some statistics. You actually covered that really well, but suicide attempts and completions among people who identify as LGBTQ+ are far higher than the national average, according to the National Transgender Discrimination Survey conducted by the National Gay and Lesbian Task Force and National Center for Transgender Equality. At least 41% of transgender people attempt suicide, and 10 to 20% of cisgender but queer identifying people also have attempted. Further, the Williams Institute has also found that 40% of homeless youth served by centers identify as LGBT, and more than 1 in 4 young people who have come out to their parents are thrown out of their homes. Finally, 43.8% of lesbian women and 61.1% of bisexual women have experienced rape, physical violence, and stalking by an intimate partner at some point in their lifetime, as opposed to the 35% of heterosexual women. People in the LGBTQ+ community continue to face unjust abuse and problems regardless of their location. and it will not get better until people are ready to accept and love their neighbor. Luckily, there's evidence that suggests that by displaying pride evokes feelings of positive self-feelings, different communities and their futures. The efficacy of pride display is clear, and it is simple. Inexpensive gesture on the part of Oakland. Some local gestures. Ponds Church, as you know, is a registered church located in Oakland. They have a group called the Room for All, which works within the denomination for inclusion in the church. Ponds also has a safe space to communicate to the LGBTQ people that they are welcomed and accepted and have a safe place to worship within their boundaries. They have flown the Pride banner during June in recent years. Indian Hills High School has the Gay Straight Alliance, which is a student organization that educates the student body while providing a safe and accepting space for queer students and their allies and peers to gather and discuss. I'm not going to get this right. Beth Havram Shir Shalom of Mawa hosts a Pride Shabbat service in June to show awareness and acceptance for the LGBTQ members and the Jewish community locally and at large. Towns such as Ridgewood have a proclamation declaring acceptance of the LGBTQ people and also display pride representation. And Glen Ridge has the Northern New Jersey chapter of PFLAG, which is an organization providing resources and activism for those in their community. The public display.
Is someone else going to speak and they can continue reading, because we
I'll
did say
read it.
3 minutes?
I have
Finish
like
reading?
literally 2 sentences.
Okay, go right
The
ahead.
public display of pride by Oakland would be beneficial in showing active support to its LGBTQ plus members and allies, while showing the homophobia and hatred is not welcome in our borough. We're asking that you support by declaring a proclamation, which you've already done, and to display pride in public property during the month of June 2019.
Thank you.
This has been signed by 452 people within our community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, we're not going to have back and forth, but we're going to be speaking more.
2 seconds. Simone Samler, 24 Academy Circle. I've been an Oakland resident for 47 years. I'm a teacher. I'm an adjunct professor over at William Patterson University. I have seen over the years, I have seen students try to commit suicide. I have seen students that have been thrown out of their homes. I have seen very depressed youngsters who were not accepted by parents, family, bullies in school. I was last night at Fairlawn Gay Pride Day, where they held a beautiful ceremony in the municipal building, and they had it last year. Many of the towns surrounding Oakland have a flag flown for Gay Pride. I request that Oakland do the same. It's an educated thing to do to make students feel that they are accepted in our town. Okay? So please consider it.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Maggie Stanzak, and I'm a teacher and co-advisor.
You have to give, I'm sorry, you have to give your address.
Oh, I'm not a resident of
That's
the town.
okay, you still have to give your address.
Oh, 18 Leary Avenue, Bloomingdale, New Jersey.
Welcome.
Okay. I'm a teacher and co-advisor of the Gay Straight Alliance at Indian Hills High School, and I'm so proud to be a teacher there for the past 20 years. Some things that our alliance has done at our school are fundraising to help support homeless teens, presentation to the faculty by students who answered questions on how the faculty can best support them, a day of silence where students represent the past silencing of the LGBT community, and a Q&A session for our students. The GSA's motto is all are welcome. Some members of the GSA have expressed the belief that the GSA is a place where they can truly be themselves, where they feel whole. Our club is made up of 36 members of the student body and faculty who believe that nobody should ever feel ostracized from the community for being themselves. The purpose of Pride Month is to show support and a sense of community to a group of people who, until recently, have been ostracized and persecuted by their peers. The opposite of pride is shame. No child in our school should be made to feel ashamed of their very self, of who they really are. A banner or symbol of the town's support of our students would go a long way towards fostering that feeling of community that Oakland has always been known and admired for.
Thank you.
Hi, Marisol Brahe, 11 Mohawk. I'm actually here on behalf of my daughter. And she wrote, "It's simple really, by the town supporting Pride Month, whether that be through a banner or just a simple declaration, the visibility and support for the LGBTQ community will follow suit. Any demonstration in support of the community pushes society in the right direction and shows those that oppose the LGBT community that they will not back down. They are relentless in their fight. The history of Pride is one that is filled with heroism, sacrifice, and the community should be recognized for their tireless work and efforts despite continuous opposition. Because of this, we cannot be another town that falls behind and ignores the vast population of the LGBTQ members in our town and in the United States. My daughter, who expressed seeing others support her community, allowed her to build up the strength to come out. It was on vacation in Key West, a town notable to support the LGBT community, where she finally felt comfortable enough to be herself. I purchased her a pride flag there, and she wore it proudly throughout the town without being looked at or no opposition. I've watched her grow into her own skin. I've watched her become a
Calm down, we'll give you extra minutes to calm down.
You can take my 3 minutes, I'm gonna speak twice.
He speaks fast, yes.
Okay, and watched her become a proud lesbian woman. None of this would have been possible without the love and support of my parents. Therefore, it is obvious that visibility and support goes a long way, and start from small demonstrations like having a symbol of pride in our town. I believe that having a physical symbol of gay pride in our town can help others who may feel alone in their struggle and know that they are loved and not backed by an entire community and their town. And I just wanted to add, as a parent, it's a struggle. I will stand next to my daughter. I will fight with her. I will fight for her. And we are all a community. And a community, a village, we should all be together. We should all come together. I don't believe that somebody's sexual orientation should be something that we need to look at. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Diana Peller. I am at 165 Franklin Ave in Oakland. I've come here tonight as a mother, as an Oakland community member, and as an Indian Hills High School teacher. I cannot emphasize strongly enough the importance of having a pride banner in our town, especially for our young people. To some, a banner or flag may not seem to hold that much importance. However, to a young person in the LGBTQ+ community, a pride banner is a symbol of acceptance. For our young people, this feeling of acceptance is not commonplace, especially in the climate of today's society. High school can be difficult for any student, but for LGBTQ+ students, even more so. As you know, the statistics about LGBTQ+ students are alarming. These numbers are real. These numbers are relevant even here in our little suburban town of Oakland, New Jersey. The fact is that young people are more likely to reach their full potential in a positive environment that is safe and welcoming and where they feel a sense of belonging. I believe that we have more than just an opportunity here, but a responsibility. We have the responsibility here as adults to promote respect, equality, and acceptance. We have the responsibility here to communicate these values in a very clear and simple yet meaningful way by displaying a pride banner in the Oakland community. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening. My name is Marisol Lourdes Torres de Kozlovsky, and I live at 19 Warner Drive. So I said it that way, which is the proper formal way, because I'm 100% Puerto Rican, Boricua, Hispanic, and Latina, and I know what you're thinking. I don't look it. That's what everybody thinks. I'm a living example of breaking stereotypes and changing people's minds, because I often had to prove every single day that I am a Boricua. And usually it was with laughter and with fun, because people would say to me, "Oh, well, prove it, say something in Spanish." And I would go to them, "Algo," which is something in Spanish. The other Marisol knew that. Yeah, it's something in Spanish. Now, I prepared a speech which is too long for 3 minutes, but essentially I was going to summarize how I've seen hate in many different forms that most people don't see. My marriage to my Eastern European husband is considered a biracial marriage in this country. Okay, I'm considered brown, even though this is me with tan, by the way. So, but I also used to joke around, and actually Mr. Kamala's heard this joke, where I would say that I'm on a police report Caucasian, but on a medical report Hispanic. That's actually really important to me because the police report, they need expediency in describing my look, which is Caucasian. But on a medical report, if I can't speak for myself in a doctor's office, I need them to know that there are certain genetic things about me that run in the Hispanic culture. Heart disease, diabetes, any of those things could be affecting me, and if I can't communicate that, they need to know it. That makes me different. That's a change. And what I wanted to say is that most members of the LGBTQ community cannot change who they are any more than I can change that medical fact. I have faced things that a lot of people haven't. No one in this room should have to face standing between a police officer's gun and their cousin because he's a darker shade of brown that should be in your neighborhood and is driving you home that night. And I've had to face that, okay? That fear of being different. Up through my 20s, I used to go by the nickname Maddie because the American tongue can't say Marisol, and Marisol sounds a little harsh to my ear, so I went by the nickname Maddie. Maddie Torres, that's a real good strong name. I studied to be a broadcaster and a newscaster. They loved it. Maddie Torres, easy to say, very easy to hear, okay? How many people in my life that I worked with, cared for, loved, dated, dropped me within a heartbeat, no matter how intelligent I was, no matter how educated, no matter how big my capacity to love, the minute they found out that Maddie did not stand for Madeline, okay? These are things I've had to go through in my life, and when I talk to my LGBTQ friends, family members, and colleagues, they have that same fear, except for one major difference that I don't have. The major difference is that what got me through all that hate, and what gets me through the hate now, even when an Oakland resident goes on Facebook and types something like, "You're not baked enough," what gets me through that kind of hate is the fact that my village, my family, my loved ones, the friends I get to choose, my church family, are all standing there behind me. And the LGBTQ plus community faces the fear that if they say something, they're going to lose that community. That's the fear that they face. And that to me is the reason why we should raise a banner, a bunting, a sign, some sort of public symbol that we will support them no matter what, that we are here, that it's okay to be different and to look different than what our stereotypes and our perceptions are of people, okay? And there's one thing more that I want to say. I know that every Oakland parent stands behind their children. And if your kid is 15 or 50, if they come to you today, tomorrow, 20 years from now and says, "Mom, Dad, sit down, I have to talk to you," and there is fear in their eyes, I am fully confident in the heart and depth of my soul that every Oakland parent would stand behind their kid and not turn their backs on them. And that's why we need to raise the flag.
Thank you.
Because we really need to prove to the world that people can walk down our streets safely without having to worry who they're holding hands with or what their hair looks like, okay? They need to know that we are a safe community because we have gone from a world where 20 years ago we were absolutely outraged at the death of Matthew Shepard to a world where on a Facebook post you see a trans woman died in Texas a few weeks ago just for walking down the street, and it's not even a blip on our news media. We need to let people know Oakland is safe. And that's why I feel we need to raise a rainbow. And I really don't care what form it's in, just raise a rainbow. Send a message to our village that we care about them. Send a message to other communities that Oakland streets are safe. And please, please, please raise a rainbow and make every day a good day to be brave.
Thank you.
You can go ahead.
You got more.
Hi, Rachel Teichman, 70 Spear Street. I've been an Oakland resident for 21 and a half years now, and I'm the former president of the Indian Hills Gay Straight Alliance and former president of the Coastal Carolina University Pride Group. I support this petition to raise a Pride banner on Oakland property because, as others have stated, it will spread awareness that we exist and we're not leaving, and it'll have Oakland show everybody that they care. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Annabelle Riggio. I live at 82 Andrew Avenue, and I am a lifelong resident of Oakland, as well as a rising sophomore at Clark University in Worcester, Massachusetts. My freshman year of college was my first exposure to life outside of Oakland. Being away from home allowed me to realize that though I love my town, we have a lot of room for improvement when it comes to diversity and inclusion. As a result, I started a change.org petition to see who would be interested in raising a pride banner in our town for the month of June. I was overwhelmed by the number of supporters, both young and old. And I truly believe that an important first step to a more inclusive Oakland would be acknowledging and showing our support for the LGBTQIA+ members of our community. Our country's divisive political climate has brought a unique set of challenges to the LGBTQIA individuals in recent years. A simple gesture such as raising pride banners on our municipal buildings could show that we are one town, one community, and we embrace all of our residents, regardless of who they love or how they identify. Though a banner may seem like a nominal measure, it symbolizes equality, support, and freedom to be who one truly is. As someone who has spent the past 19 years in Oakland, I am confident in saying that these are some of our town's core values. Council people, I urge you to vote to erect these symbols of hope and equality. Supporting the LGBTQIA+ community is not an issue of left or right, it is an issue of human rights. It is time we did our part in accepting diversity and embracing the fact that here in Oakland, love always wins. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
Nick Check, 18 Crosby Lane, Oakland. I don't know how many of you know you have met a transgender person, but hello. My name is Nick Check. I'm non-binary transgender. There's a lot of misinformation out there about what this means to be transgender. Many of us, though not all, have known since we were young, even if we didn't have the words for it. It was a scratchy wool sweater filled with rocks that got lighter and less uncomfortable when we could forget, only to have it slam us when we heard girls line up here, boys here. And remember that if we joined the line we felt right in, we would get in trouble, that we were wrong. It felt like a punch to the gut when we were called our birth names, as we saw someone so different than ourselves in that name. I have a memory of being about 6 or 7, insisting desperately that my family call me KC, my middle and last initial. Anything really that wasn't as feminine as my birth name. When I entered Indian Hills after not going to Valley, I remember the moment I realized I didn't have to go by my birth name. I went by Frankie. I didn't know why I needed this androgynous name. I made up a story as to its origins because all I knew was I felt so much lighter with it. I knew after the first week that it was the best thing that I had ever done. Eventually we figure out we're transgender. After we've processed it and accepted it, there's a euphoria I can't explain to you. A freedom. We could take off the sweater. We didn't have to sit through being punched in the gut. We were not wrong. We, and those around us, were just confused. That euphoria only lasts moments when we realize that this joy we have at our discovery will not be shared by everyone. Even though it hurts no one, it takes nothing, but it's everything to us. It's a saying in the community that to be visibly LGBT+ is to choose your happiness over your safety. A survey was conducted in 2015 to collect information on the daily lives of transgender people. It's included in the packet. In New Jersey, 78% of respondents reported experiencing harassment or mistreatment on the job. 16% lost a job. Just because when they were born, people thought they were a different gender than they actually were. To quote directly, those who expressed a transgender identity or gender nonconformity while in grades K through 12 reported alarming rates of harassment, 63%, physical assault, 16%, and sexual violence, 13%. Harassment was so severe that it led 17% to leave a school in K through 12 settings or to leave higher education. Now, while only 125 of the respondents were from New Jersey, the national survey paints a much bleaker picture. 90% of those surveyed reported experiencing harassment, mistreatment, or discrimination on the job, or took actions hiding who they were to avoid it. 53% of respondents reported being verbally harassed or disrespected in places of public accommodation. 41% have attempted suicide. Also included in the packet is a letter from a young trans man showing the huge impact a simple thing like a banner can mean to us. It hurts no one. It takes nothing. But to us,
It is everything.
Excuse me, what packet?
I haven't.
Oh. That's what I was just
Pass it out,
asking Lisa.
Liz.
Oh, okay.
Didn't want to waste time.
Oh, okay.
Anybody else? Evening, Mayor
I
and
guess
Council.
it's
Peter-
you.
Peter Keycott, 20 Minnehaha Boulevard. I speak for everyone in the Keycott household. The reoccurring theme that I'm hearing tonight is community. In 2011, I ran for the seats that you guys all sit on, and I lost. But during that campaign, I learned that Oakland has a very strong community, but a very, is the word non-diverse or undiverse community? And that needed to change. We had what's called a Chamber of Commerce, a defunct group that hadn't met for a number of years and left a bunch of money in the coffers of the wherever they were in whatever bank, and basically did nothing for no one. My concept was, and it was felt, it was received rather, not so positively. I wanted to change the name. I didn't want a commercial group per se. I didn't want just a business group, a LATIP, a referral group. I wanted a community group. So I argued and won. We voted. We changed it, and we named it the Community of Commerce. And for 6 years, that business group was named the Community of Commerce. And we expanded on a lot of the programs that we have in the borough. Great programs, recreation, the arts community. We have a decent business district in town. We've got some good ratables out on Bauer Drive, which help our taxes. So we've got some good things going on in Oakland. But I wanted to form an inclusive group for everyone to feel like they could be a part of the Oakland community. So it's not a community of commerce, it's the community of Oakland. And it affects the arts and recreation and the commercial, the commercial, yes, but the Recreation Commission as well. So, as I'm listening to things, community is the word that pops up most. Tonight, what everyone is speaking for goes far beyond and above just a proclamation, which is great. A proclamation is certainly step number one. In my opinion, a proclamation is, yes, the first step. It's one of the many steps that have to be taken in order to raise everybody up in the community. I wrote on Facebook tonight, and you know how we are in social media, folks.
Is this about this flag?
It happens to be about a flag.
Do you
It
know-
looks very similar to what's on my
Do you
shirt.
know I copied it, I was going to read it if you didn't come?
You were going to read my post. Well, God help us all. If I got struck by lightning right now.
It's,
Can I read it, or should
no,
I?
go right ahead.
I'm fine if you would like. Here.
No,
I
you
have it
read,
right
no,
here.
you wrote the post, but I even said, thank you, Peter Keycott, when I was going to
Okay, so
read
I
it.
didn't get that post. I beg your pardon, Mayor. But since I'm here, and I beg your pardon.
She couldn't find it on her phone.
Probably not. Like Lou, I'd probably have to help you too, with all due respect. All right. So, my post was this. Let's not forget, friends, that showing support for humanity with a flag or a banner or just physical or emotional support is not political. What we are showing is support for everyone in our community, regardless of their being straight or gay, religious or agnostic, black or white, and anything in between, man or woman, must I go on, ... Humanity trumps politics, exclamation point, may humanity prevail tonight.
Oh, that's not what I was gonna read.
Beg your pardon?
I was gonna read additional, never mind,
There's another one? Holy, I got a couple on your radar. Man, Facebook rocks. Bottom line, folks, is this. I appreciate the Mayor and Council's proclamation. I think that's a great first step. But it's only a step. There's much more we can do. I have a gay brother. I am a supporter of everyone. And we have an open and affirming home at 20 Minnehaha Boulevard in this beautiful town of Oakland. We moved here with that hope and understanding that our neighbors and our friends and our family and people who we disagree with, who we agree with, who we like and who we hate, will all have the same opportunities that my son has had in all of his life here in Oakland. And I would hope that the representation of a simple flag a unified flag that shows, and if you read what the colors of the rainbow mean, will give you an understanding of what unification means, what understanding means, what being a part of a community means, what being a part of all these people who are sitting here in front of you right here tonight are supportive, except for the ones that are here for student things, and I'm sorry. Wherever you are, you got mixed into this chaotic event of what's going on tonight. But you're here, so you're a part of what's happening. And we're on the right side of history, folks. We are on the right side of things that are getting done in a positive way. Again, the proclamation is step one. Raising a banner, a rainbow flag. Has anybody ever seen a depiction of the flood? Not to get too biblical, because I'm the most agnostic person in this room. I'm not Jewish, I'm not Christian, I'm not Catholic.
The Ramapo River flood?
No, no. See, the great flood of Noah, where he brought similar and like individuals of animals, and he brought them into an ark, and he put them away, and he covered them up, and this is presumably God. Whether he or she or they exist, I don't know. They could be ancient aliens from another planet. I don't have that.
right behind you.
I'm listening.
Nathan, okay, you can come up after. This is a good start to get you in here. So, all right, so Nathan, I think, would have probably a better understanding, but we all know Noah's, we know the story. I've never met Noah, he's probably a great guy, but we've all read the story or heard the story of Noah's Ark, and after the floods, there was a rainbow, right? That's the rainbow that I want to end my speech on. There was a rainbow. It promoted positivity, that nothing else bad was going to happen, that we're done. Bad stuff's over, folks. You made your mistakes, now let's move on. Good night, thank you.
Didn't you write about the colors of the flag?
I did, yes ma'am.
Red represents life, orange represents healing, yellow represents sunlight, blue represents harmony, purple represents spirit, and green represents nature.
Yes ma'am.
I copied that from your post.
And that,
And
if
the
you...
colors in total represent healing, love, acceptance, inclusion, and understanding. That's from your post.
Thank you.
And then I
Yes,
Googled
it was.
it, and it said it's because of the colors of the rainbow to let the light come in,
So
reflecting
you
light.
Googled it and Google checked it out? And I was right. See, this is what makes you a good mayor. You know, you relied on Google, and God forbid Google be wrong. Thank God it was right. See, we brought God into it again, and I'm an agnostic. So, yes, thank you.
And followed by Reverend Buska.
Okay, I gotta sit down.
Is this 3 minutes
I'm
up?
done. Yeah, probably 4 minutes ago.
Reverend Nathan Busker, 67 Dogwood Drive. I wasn't planning on speaking tonight. I came
neither was I.
just to be supportive of Rachel asked me to be here and has talked to me about the statement. But listening to everyone and how moved I am by your stories, I thought as the senior pastor of a registered, open and affirming congregation in Oakland that I should at least say a few words. And they're very brief. One of our gay families at Ponds brought me the flag, which you see on Ramapo Valley Road, and it's not the normal flag, right? It's one of those cool ones. And they asked if we could fly that, and I was like, okay, I'm always learning from our LGBT members, and I thought, okay, it's a flag, right? And it's not even like your traditional looking flag. But here's what I've learned. As we fly that pride flag, and we've flown it now for the past few years, I receive emails from people I don't know. People say how much it means to them to see that. To see that there is some place prominent in our town that cares. And I thought, if that's all it takes, as Peter said, a first step to provide hope, then by all means, let's join together, join Ponds, and let's paint the town with the colors of safety and love and acceptance of all people. And I think Peter's right. This is just a first step, but boy, in my mind, I've been working overtime thinking of all the other things that we could all be doing because I think we need to put actions behind our words, a statement, just a flag. I think we could follow through with some very meaningful actions as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Just walk up. You don't raise your hand, just walk up.
I'm used to being at Indian Hills, sorry.
Oh.
Alexandra McCormick, 161 Manitou Avenue. Today's the anniversary of the Pulse shooting in Orlando, Florida. So I'm just going to read a sonnet by the creator of the musical Hamilton, Lin-Manuel Miranda. We chase the melodies that seem to find us until they're finished songs that start to play. When senseless acts of tragedy remind us that nothing here is promised, not one day. The show is proof that history remembers. We live through time where hate and fear seem stronger. We rise and fall and lay from dying embers. Remembrance is that hope and love last longer. And love is love is love is love, cannot be killed or swept aside. I sing Vanessa Symphony, Eliza tells her story, and I fill the music world with music, love, and pride.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi. My name is Aurora McNally, 617 Rollins Road in Wyckoff. I'm here a lot. I have friends here. I used to be in that little box. I used to be on the Oakland TV committee.
I was going to say the box.
Little tiny room through the
That's the
windows.
jail upstairs. That's the Yeah, I've been there.
But I've seen you guys a lot. I'm a transgender person, and I think it would matter a lot for people who are LGBT and still feel insecure and not safe about it to see a pride flag hanging. I know that if I had seen that when I was in high school or middle school or college or elementary school, it would have made my life a lot better. It would have made me feel a lot safer and more secure in who I am. And I know that we can do well enough for other kids in Oakland and the surrounding towns that way. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Miranda Kikot, 20 Mayhaw Boulevard, something very quick. There have been some very unkind messages on social media from some very close-minded people. However, I do believe that, because I've been in Oakland for so long now, I know how good this town is. I know how many good people this town has. I know how many more of us, obviously I'm married to this town here, so I don't belong in that group of people as far as my
I say sorry every day, Lou.
Thank you.
Okay.
However, there is room in our hearts, in most of Oakland community's heart, for way more love than that social media has shown lately. And it's a little bit disturbing to know that people feel that way, when especially it doesn't bother them in any way. So all I want to say is the majority of the people, way more, are kind, loving people, accepting people. You never know whose child is going to turn out to be that way one day, and I hope they accept them with their whole heart. I just want to say that as a community, as a great community, let's show this group, small group of people, that we love them, we accept them, they belong here, that they have places in all of our homes, and they're welcome.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Rachel Spina, 135 Franklin Ave. I think we've talked a lot today about how important doing something like this is for children and younger people, and I think that's very important. But I think it's also important to note that it's important for older people as well. I'm going to speak something to you that I have only said out loud once in my entire life to my husband, and that is I'm a bisexual woman. I've typed it several times on the internet now because it's easier to face people that I don't see every day. I've typed it to my sister, probably typed it to a few friends, but this is literally the second time I've said it aloud, and I'm 32 years old. I'm a graduate of Indian Hills High School. The Gay Straight Alliance was not around when I was there. And I think it's important to note that I did not come out until I was about 29 years old. And that's because I was afraid. So I didn't suffer any bullying. I didn't suffer any taunting because of my sexual orientation. But I suffered because I wasn't living my authentic self all my life. And I think it's important to show pride here in Oakland, whether it's a flag or a banner or the proclamation, like we said, is a great start.
because I shouldn't have had to feel silenced for almost 3 decades. I've known pretty much since I was a little girl. And I hope that our young community can grow up and not have to face that fear, not have to live their authentic selves or feel like they can't find hope and love within their communities. Because as somebody said, even just posting recently about our intentions here, we've gotten a lot of kickback and a lot of hate. And I have to say, if I had seen that before coming out, I probably wouldn't have. And that's no way for anybody to live.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? No one else?
Don't be
I'm
shy.
sorry, looking that way.
Sorry. My name is Sarah Willix. I'm at 76 Seminole Avenue. I'm the current president of the GSA at Indian Hills. And I just want to say that coming here, I was very anxious and very stressed out. I didn't know what kind of people were going to be here. I wasn't sure what people were going to say. But then driving in, I saw people decked out in rainbow socks and shirts and whatnot. And then it just all felt okay. It felt a lot safer. And I think that is a perfect example of why we should have a flag flown in Oakland, because for people like me, new areas and new people are very frightening, and you never know what's going to happen. But to have a flag being flown, it's not only like a symbol of our pride, but it is a symbol that we're safe and welcomed and accepted. And to feel that way is everything for people like me. And yeah, that's why I think it's very important, is because when you hear slurs almost every day in school, and when you read the news or go on social media and you see somebody has been killed because they're like you, you remember how unsafe you really are in this world. And to see a symbol of love and acceptance and a message that you are okay here and you're accepted and you're loved here is very important to me.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, sorry, Peter Keecock, 20 Meeting Hall.
You already had your 3 minutes.
Yeah, I know, I gotta come back up, but I found a post that you jogged my memory, Mayor.
Oh,
So I blame it on you.
Oh, sorry.
Again, in response to posts being put on Facebook and social media, my response, the rainbow flag, it's represented on the shirt. There are several iterations of the rainbow flag. There's 8 colors originally, went to 6, 2 more were added, and there are variations in between. Another response that I want to make perfectly clear to everybody, and I'm going to say this just as I wrote it, just to be clear, folks, this flag does not represent homosexuality. Now, where you picked up earlier, Mayor.
Oh, the colors of the flag.
Yes, the color red represents life. The color orange is for healing. Yellow represents sunlight. Green stands for nature. Blue is for harmony, and purple for spirit. The flag represents hope, healing, love, acceptance, inclusion, and understanding. Any other definition is just an easy way around actually understanding the true meaning. I removed a few bigot words, and removed a few other things that probably I could have added to that because of the comments that are on social media. But let me just remind you.
But then you'd be beyond your 3 minutes.
You're right, but since I've started again, I have a new 3. So the flag, let me say it again, the flag represents hope, healing, love, acceptance, inclusion, and understanding. Any other definition is just an easy way around actually understanding the true meaning. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Oh.
All right, so there's always 2 sides to every coin. My name is Michael Rose, 655 Brownfield Valley Road, Oakland, New Jersey. I'm not for the flag. I am for gay people. I'm for gay people, I'm for transgender people, I'm for everybody in America, I really am. I don't care if you're Muslim, Catholic, Jewish, I don't care if you're black, you're white, you're Chinese, you're Hispanic, I really don't care, okay? I think everybody here in America should be yourself, and you should be proud to be yourself. And I'm so sorry for what you've gone through and what others of you have gone through. I've seen it and I feel bad about it. I really do. I'm over there like, wow, that's terrible. I used to be picked on when I was a kid in school because my last name is Rose, like a flower. So I was called gay, I was called a faggot, I was called all these names, all right? And I grew up like that. And I fought out of that, and I became kind of tough about it. And I nobody ever called me that no more. But violence doesn't, violence is bad. But I'm not for the flag, and I don't think it's equality in the flag. The woman that posted on Oakland, or there was a couple women, about pride in Oakland, her opening line, Oakland, New Jersey has always had a strong small town sense of community. I agree with that. I think this is a fantastic town. I've been here 31 years. I've invested a lot of money in this town, continue to invest a lot of money in this town, as well as time. So I think that's a very important statement. I also believe that hearing about suicide and stuff you guys talk about blows my mind. Honestly, it does. And I'm serious, I'm telling you the truth. That's bad stuff. You know what I mean? But I don't believe the gay, or the rainbow flag equates to equality. What I want to hand out to the council, should I, who do I give it to?
Give it to
Give
Lisa,
somebody pass
our
down?
clerk.
The clerk. Who's the clerk? Hey,
Lisa.
clerk. Okay, there we go. Start coming. You see everyone best? Top page. Yes. So, the initialism LGBT is intended to emphasize the diversity of sexuality and gender identity-based cultures. No problem. It may be used to refer to anyone who is non-heterosexual or non-cisgender. That's somebody, if you don't know, that identifies with the sex that they were born as. I identify with a male. I was born a male. Right there is that's not conclusive. That's not including me. This flag does not include me. This flag actually is discriminatory towards me because I'm heterosexual. My opinion, my belief. Okay? And I think you need to think about that. There's 456 signatures on a petition that was done on the web. That in the web post on Facebook, it says some people live here, some people don't. Well, how many people live in town? 14,000 people. We have maybe 400 people on town that signed off on this petition. Less than 2% of our people. If pride is so strong in Oakland, why is there not 1 million flags out there on every private home in town? There's hardly any flags. Pride Month started June 1st. Everybody here should have a sign, they should have a flag on their home. I was told I wouldn't put it on my home. Well, then why would you put it in the center of town? I don't understand that. So I think there's a problem there, and I think you guys need to think about it before you vote. LGBT is an organization. It's a private business. They make money doing this.
Oh, yeah.
Wait. It's not something we debate, right? Please. Since the 1990s, the symbolism, the flag, has been transferred to represent the extended LGBT, lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender community. Not straight. So it's not inclusive. Okay? This symbol has been sold on jewelry, on flags, on clothing. Sold. Money is involved. Okay? Now I have 14,400 people in town. I'm one man here to talk about a whole bunch of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I believe in what you are and how you feel about yourselves. I believe I am a man. I identify with being a man. There's nothing wrong with that. Please don't hold that against me. But I don't feel the inclusion of a heterosexual, which is clearly identified in this document, that it is not representative of, to be conclusive of all people in town. My opinion. By the way, what you did by that proclamation was amazing. My hat's off to you. I think that's the way to do it. That was 100% awesome. Take a full page out in the paper, let people know. But I don't believe the flag should be posted on community property. That flag right there, old red, white, and blue, Old Glory, that's conclusive of inclusion. Our 13 colonies, our 50 states are represented there. We all said the Pledge of Allegiance when we started this meeting tonight. If you go through those words, it includes everybody. Gay, transgender, black, white, immigrant, non-immigrant, Muslim, Catholic, Christian, Jew. It includes everybody, our flag. That's what should be flying in our town buildings. Our state flag and our municipality flag.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, Megan Check, 18 Crosby Lane in Oakland. I really wasn't planning on speaking tonight, but here I am. So I guess I have a few things I want to say. I generally identify as a cis straight person, but I acknowledge that I have no way of understanding in any real way the things that LGBT plus people have been through. And I just want to say that as a cis straight person, I am in support of some sort of pride display on municipal property, because for so long that flag hasn't represented equality. It's represented hatred and violence against people who aren't straight and cis. And in 1969, the police officers who raided Stonewall probably pledged allegiance to the same flag, and things change and history changes, and until people aren't killed every single day and persecuted every single day for who they are, who they love, who they identify as, we need, I feel, some other show of support, that the community supports them and that they're safe here and that the community doesn't fear or hate them. So, sorry if that was a little scattered.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, Maria Glasson, 51 Princeton Terrace. I'm one of the original members of the petition. My name has been on there publicly. I just wanted to say that Mr. Rose brought up a flag. And I don't think it's important that it be a flag. I think we need to throw that word out. I think a banner, a bunting, anything that's rainbow that comes out and just shows people, you know what? We like you. You're fine the way you are. If you're straight, if you're gay, cisgender, transgender, everything in between. I'm a little bit older and I get lost on the letters, you know, it's evolved since I was younger. But I just think some sort of symbol, and it doesn't need to be a flag, just something rainbow that says, hi, we're an inclusive community. I have small children, and that's the kind of community I moved here to be a part of. I have never gotten up and stood for something like this. This is new for me. It's grassroots. I'm, just so proud to have my name attached to that, and I'm just so proud of the council for the proclamation, and Mayor Schwager especially for the proclamation, and for listening to all these stories. And I don't understand how anyone could sit here and listen to what some of our children are going through, our teenagers, the statistics, and not want to say, you know what, we don't want that here. We want these kids to know that we support them and they're okay just the way they are. So I just wanted to say, it doesn't need to be a flag. Just rainbow anything would be great. So thank you for listening.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah.
No, keep
Back up to speed. So, you wanna do
He's
the
not
second
speaking.
session?
You've been up over
Shall
6
I wait?
minutes.
Shall I
Wait
do
till
the
the
second
end.
session?
Yes, wait till the
Okay, I'll
second,
wait
please.
till the second session. Thank you, Madam
Second,
Council.
all right. At this time, is there anyone else? Therefore, I'm going to ask for motion to close to the public.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we are going to, because of the hour, and we have so many children here that are getting awards, and thank you for bringing them. I'm just going to deviate a little bit from the program to special announcements and appointments. And I'm going to go down to, how do we list it, the last one? The Gay Pride Banner discussion. I have to say, before listen to what I'm saying, don't just listen to the first part because you're going to get. This town has always held off putting up flags other than the American flag and the MIA flag. And what is it? It's the MIA and
POW.
It's very important. We have a lot of veterans in town, and it's very important. In fact, you see in Veterans Park, everything is very special about the veterans, and we should honor our veterans. However, as I repeat, I can't believe I repeated Peter Keekott.
Thank God there's video.
I am going to make a proposal, and I'm going to ask for and see if the council will make a motion second and vote on it. I had and I'm going to be very honest and full disclosure, I had spoken to Allison Fleeson about this. I said, you know, forget, we can't do the flag. This town is very specific about flags. It's a very special, and I told you, very right out, we have the American flag, the MIA, and the POWs. However, there's nothing that says we can't put up a banner or a bunting. So at this time, and I said, can you buy one? Do you have one? We, in Bush Plaza, and everybody knows where Bush Plaza is, it's right in the middle of town. It's opposite Yorpole Avenue, where the flagpole is. We put up flow follies. We put up blood drives. We permit runs for 5K runs for whatever reason, charitable events. We put up events. We allow people to put up, whatever they want for an event. We give them permission from the council. We put up the car shows, fundraisers for different organizations. If you have an event and it's a charitable event, or if it's a very important event, special event, we do as a council permit you to put up a sign. And I said to Allison, well, if we give you permission, would you be willing to go out and get a bunting? Would your group go out and be willing to get a bunting? She said, absolutely, right on Amazon Prime, she'll have it tomorrow. And she told me that very, very point blank. So at this point, I'm going to ask for a motion for the council to permit, and I don't even know if you have a name of your group in town. I don't know if it's a special name, but all the people that spoke and want this, and I don't know if there's an organization, it's a name, but.
Oakland Pride right now.
Okay, we'll say Oakland Pride. And I'm asking for someone to make a motion on the council to permit Oakland Pride. But before I say that, the state recognizes June as the Gay Pride Month. The county had a very big event in Bergen County by the courthouse in the park. So I'm asking the council if someone would make a motion, and then it has to be seconded and voted on, to permit the Oakland Gay Pride Organization. I'm sorry, I don't know what to call, I don't know what, I apologize. To put up their bunting for the remainder of June and, of 2019.
So moved.
So moved.
There a second?
Second.
So at this time, I ask our clerk to take a roll call.
Councilman Bial.
Yes.
Councilman Knapp.
Yes.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Yes.
Councilman Pimentelli.
Yes.
Please, go to Amazon Prime tonight.
I actually put together, because I spent a whole lot of time doing that.
And that's the package you were
Don't
referring
forget,
to.
free second day shipping.
Now, very special, Mike Paravati, teacher, Indian Hills. Chairs supervises the academic decathlon at Indian Hills High School, which we should all be very proud of. We were corresponding for a while about giving out certificates. If, Mr. Pavarati, would you come up and explain exactly what occurred this year for the Indian Hills Academic Decathlon teams?
Sure, absolutely.
Very exciting, very special. And I know some of you from the mock trial.
I'm Mike Paravati. I'm the coach of the Indian Hills Academic Decathlon team. First, I would like to thank Mayor Schwager and the town council for recognizing the children tonight. They've done an awesome job this year with the academic decathlon season. The academic decathlon team this year has had a tremendously successful season. They ranked first at the regional competition, second at our state competition, and they went off to the nationals competition in Bloomington, Minnesota, where they ranked 5th in our division nationally. So I'd like to I've had the pleasure of supervising and coaching the team now for 4 years, and then seeing them advance to the national competition 2 years in a row. They've all dedicated a tremendous amount of time on Saturday mornings, over winter break, after school. Academic decathlon is basically like taking 2 or 3 extra classes. And so adding that onto the regular workload at school and what they do after school with their part-time jobs, I just think the accomplishments this year and the past year have just been absolutely tremendous. I would like to also to take a moment to say a couple words about the team, especially a couple of members who are on the team this year and that they're graduating. I've been with the team, as I said, 4 years now, and for those 4 years, I've had some students now that are graduating. So I've seen them through their freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year. Those are Tara Heyman, Harrison Chen, Megan Swenson, Saurabh Taneja, and even Leo Han. So considering my only memories of teaching and coaching the team are with those decathletes, it's a bit bittersweet to see them graduate this year, but it's also very exciting to see them move on to even more exciting things and new adventures for themselves. Again, without the town community and the parents supporting us the entire time, I don't know if we'd be able to make it this far. And without the other members of the team that couldn't be here tonight and who are also here in the audience too, Lydia Park, Grace Romatelli, Victoria Boyce, Andrew Ruggiero, Deanna Paza, Ashley Lubis, Ashley McCormick, Joseph Park, Ariel Tkach, Cora Mayer Costa, Eva Sakalakis, Natalie Ambrose, Sophia Wench, Emily Bass, Winston Shao, and Saurabh Malakuti. We would all like to thank the council for their support and the community for their support as well. So thank you again.
No, don't leave now. We have to thank you. I don't know if everybody's here, but you want to call the names? You'll know who's here. That's the
Sure.
the computer.
Just the students who are here tonight.
No,
Well-
let's call all the names out.
Natalie Ambrose,
Not here.
here. Winston Shao, Ashley Lubis, Saurabh Malakuti, Cora Mayer Costa, Joseph Park, Ariel Tkach,
Thank you. That's it?
Eva Sakalakis, Emily Bass, Sophia Wench, Natalie Ambrose, and there should be some more.
Now we have Tara Heyman for your bronze medal in literature and essays at the national competition. Silver medal in essays, oh my goodness, social science, art, language, literature. Honorable mention in science at the states, and the highest scoring decathlete in the region for scholastic division. Gold medal in essay, science, social science, art, literature. Honorable mention economics at the regionals, and oh. Harrison Chen, who, everywhere I go is Harrison Chen, the Eagle Scout ceremony, and gold medal in essay national competition, silver medal in speech interview, and honorable mention economics at the state's competition, gold medal in economics, interview and speech at the regionals, silver medal in science, honorable mention art and language at the regional competition. Congratulations. We're going to be reading a lot about Harrison Chen.
Just did.
More. I mean, everywhere I go. Is that? How do you
Saurabh Taneja.
Silver medal in essay national, silver medal in speech, honorable mention in math, interview at states, silver medal in speech, bronze medal in essay and math, honorable mention in economics, science, interview at the regionals. silver medal in art, bronze medal in literature at the national, silver medal in social science, music, bronze medal in language literature at the states. Second highest score decathlete in the region. For honors division, gold medals in social science, art, language, literature, silver medal in economics and science, and honorable mention in essay at the regional.
Lady Kennedy.
Megan. Oh, wow. Bronze medal in math at the national, gold medal in essay, and bronze in math at the nationals. Third highest scoring decathlete in the state for scholastic division. Silver medals in math and science, music, bronze in speech and interview, honorable mentions in economics, science in the states. Second highest scoring decathlete in the region for scholastic division. Gold medal in music, silver medal in math, economics and science, bronze in speech and interview, and honorable mention in essays. Whoa.
She's not here tonight.
And she did silver medal in music, honorable mention in language literature in states, gold medal in music, bronze medal in language, honorable mention in social science and art in the regional. That was Victoria Boyce. Gold medal in economics, silver medal in language literature, bronze medal in music at the states, gold medal in music, bronze in language literature, honorable mention in social science and art at the regional competition. Leo Hannes?
He is here.
Leo. Bronze medal in economics, a lot of economics, whoa, and social science at the nationals, highest scoring decathlete in the state for varsity division. Gold medal in science, social science, art, silver medal in math, honorable mention essays, highest scoring competitor in the entire region in the varsity division, gold medals in math, science, social science, and art, silver medal in essay, honorable mention economics, language, and literature at the regionals.
Yes, sir.
Daniel Acosta?
He is not here tonight.
Daniel, but he got a bronze medal in speech, the nationals, gold medal in essay and economics, bronze in art and interview at the states, second highest scoring competitor in the entire region in the varsity division, gold medals in essay, economics and interview, silver medals in art, music, and language literature in the regionals. Congratulations, Daniel.
Ruggiero.
Ruggiero. Silver medal for speech, bronze medal for interview, honorable mention in science at the states, gold medals in speech and interview, honorable mentions in science at the regionals. Congratulations, Daniel. Alexandra McCormick. Okay, gold medal, whoa, gold medal in economics. Silver medal in language literature, bronze medal in music at the states, silver medal in music, bronze medal in social science at the regionals. Now, you're welcome to stay. However, it is getting late, and I know you have homework to do. I still have homework, maybe. But if you do want to leave, it's okay.
Mayor, maybe just take a 5-minute break.
Really?
Yeah.
Like they have to do homework?
They do my homework. Maybe they should do this.
We're taking a very, very short break, so if you want to leave, you can.
Good seeing you.
We'll see you around.
We'll see you around.
All right, great.
Okay.
We want to believe you put all that together. I was glancing at it.
I think I want to wrap it up this year. Oh, really? That's good. 57?
Haven't I already
That's
heard?
good. That's good, Tom. Thanks for thinking about it.
Go order, go now.
Is my wife Maria?
You're gonna help me out?
Go back a long way. I know when you were a little boy. I know. Well, thank you, I love it.
Because, what am I doing?
Lee.
Yeah,
Shut your mic off.
I see.
What? No. One time and I called him. Go back again. Wait a minute, I can get your
Hey, Lee. Lee.
we worked in California.
Excellent. Yeah, very Wow, I'm impressed.
You went to the zoo.
I'm gonna put on the timer.
I gotta go. I'm sorry. I should have followed back up again.
Mike, how you doing? Just think we could be down at the carnival, Mike, eating, what do you call that twisted bread?
Pretzels.
No. Huh? No, the other one with the powdered sugar on top?
Zeppelis.
The dough is all twisted.
Zeppelis. Red Zeppelin. No, calzone doesn't get powdered sugar. He's 100 years old. He's lucky to know what day it is.
How you doing, buddy? Congratulations. Very impressed. Good job, man. Good job. Good job, yeah. Can you give me 5% of that?
No, your intelligence. Andy calculated in his head.
Yeah,
This is what? Oh, okay, very good. Could you give it to the environmental people? Who's that? I'll take it. Ally is one of them. No, this is good. I can make copies. Okay, very good. Yeah, no, this is good. Good. Excellent. How's everything? Good? Yeah? Excellent. It was the best move we decided in the back. We're behind.
Hey, Tom. Oh, yeah. Oh, on, thanks.
Hey, Tom, give one of these to Don.
So we're up to the raffle and the appointments. You have to do minutes.
Lee, take care.
Okay.
Allie. You know, good? Everything good?
Oh, I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do we do?
Temperature went down, too.
We'll go home now.
Okay, it's gonna go quick now. Okay.
You're out to God's ears.
Approval of minutes, the May 22nd, 2019 minutes.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilman Bianco.
Yes.
Councilman Net.
Yes.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Yes.
Councilman Tulowitzki.
Yes.
Two raffle licensing. Oh, I turned it off. Oh, I turned it off, and I'm turning it back on. We are, because of the time and because our presenter who is going to help us with our computers, his computer couldn't go on.
No.
It was a connection issue.
There was a connection issue after all that. So we will have our presentation very quietly in the conference room at Borough Hall at some point.
Thank you.
It'll be, yes, and we'll have we have the, by then maybe we'll have the PowerPoint, or we'll have the whiteboard where we can make notes,
Well, maybe we'll have the AV system set up.
maybe. Okay, raffle license, RL 1361 for the Rampo Bergen Animal Refuge. At the rec fields, it is for the carnival. The raffle is from 6 to 10 on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the 12th, 13th, 14th, and on June 15th from 5 to 11. And it's to giving out $1 to $20 and proceeds. It's the gaming license.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
At this time, there are some appointments. We're very lucky to have people coming forward. For the planning board, which is a mayor's appointment, since Dad Hagberg retired, we had to move people around on the planning board because he was, what was he? He was official. it
Class
was-
2 member.
Class 2. So that opens up a spot. So we moved I'm moving Gregory Liss up to alternate 1, which leaves a spot in alternate 2. So I'm appointing Andrea Levy, no relation to Lou Levy, to fill the unexpired term
Could
as
be.
alternate
You
2.
don't know.
That is true.
She doesn't want to be.
Okay, public events. I told that Councilman Talamini, somebody came forward and wants to be on public events. So I appoint Robert Laskar to the 3-year appointment unexpired, expires 12/20 to the public events. And that's main council. So can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Then we have Jeffrey, and I know I'm going to pronounce this wrong, so I am so sorry. Smirchinsky. That's the gentleman, our resident who lives on Skyline Drive. He requested to go on the Environmental Commission, and so the Environmental Commission is a mayor and council. So I am asking for a motion
So moved. Second.
for the unexpired alternate 2 position.
So
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
He also wants to be on the Shade Tree Commission. And that's a mayoral appointment, so I am going to appoint him to we have an opening. We can move people up, but I'm going to hold off because there's an opening and can move some alternates up to regular. So would you please go back and discuss this with the Shade Tree Commission? Yes?
Done.
Is that a yes?
That's an affirmative, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. So Jeffrey, you're on Mr. S., you're on the Environmental Commission and possibly on the Shade Tree. But we do need people on the Flood Commission. No one's come forward.
We haven't flooded in a while.
Okay, now we have resolutions. We'll do as a consent agenda unless you want any pulled out. Resolution 19-161, authorize appraisals for the Lenape Lane area properties, Phase 3 Flood Acquisition Program. We have to get some appraisals, and so we have a quote from Joshua Makoff, LLC, in the amount of $800 per property, for a total amount of $4,000. 171, resolution requesting permission for the dedication by rider for borough parks and beautifications donations as required by NJSA 40A:5-29. Resolution 19-172, Chapter 159, First Aid Squad Ambulance. We have received notification of a contribution of $117,704 from the Oakland First Aid Squad to purchase an ambulance. 17173 Community Garden Resolution. Sustainable Community seeks to optimize quality of life for its residents. They strive to save taxes, assure clean land, air, water, improve working and living environments. And so the program is asking to establish and operate a community garden. And I'm told it's possibly on one of the properties on
Roosevelt.
Roosevelt, thank you. Went blank. 19174, authorized grant application to Bergen County Open Space Tennis Courts resurfacing, and matching grant of $35,500 from the county trust fund to fund the following project, and the rest of the money, a matching grant with the rec trust fund. 19175, authorized refund of recreation fees in the amount of $340 total from 51 West Oakland Avenue, $170.
I'm sorry, what was that name again?
I can't pronounce it, and how do you pronounce it?
Parish.
Thank you. Ina Barilla, $70, Julia Brodsky, $50, and Elizabeth Pope, $50. 19176, renewal of liquor licenses in the Borough of Oakland. Long Hill Liquors, Bistro 202, Hansel's, Bar and Grill, Sanchino's Restaurant, Beviamo, Portobello, Wolf Pack Limited, Timbers.
Yeah, they have to renew before we can transfer.
Oh, okay. Valley Spirits, Inc., Oakland Wine and Liquor, G&H Restaurant Corp., Oakland Diner, Elks Lodge, American Legion, Knights of Columbus, Buena Fortuna, that's the new Portobello, PCJJ LLC, that's W's Grill, Ruger Restaurants, and Holiday Spirits.
Don't forget my house.
What do you mean the new Portobello?
It's,
There's the banquets and the restaurants.
the other one is the banquet.
Right. That's what we should have said, banquets.
Thank you.
Resolution 9177, appoint summer camp staff. You got the list on the dais tonight. Resolution 9178, authorize Boswell Engineering, Jerome Avenue Emergency Water Main Replacement, not to exceed $12,000, broken down as follows: data collection $500, design $3,500, construction management inspection $8,000. Resolution 19179, authorized separation payment of Patrick Fitzgerald for sick vacation personnel, compensatory time accumulated, and that's in the amount of $2,688.22. Then we have Resolution 19180, authorized separation payment of Frank Fiore, who a retired police officer, for sick vacation personal compensatory time, amount of $30,380.70. Resolution 19181, appoint tax collector. This is the revised that was found on your dais, and it is for the vacancy for the position of tax collector to Deborah Benigno at an annual salary of $63,000. Resolution 19183, to submit an application with requested amount of $44,800 to the Highlands Council for Environmental and Economic Sustainability Grant Awards Program. 19184, appraisal for Sandy Beach property, Block 2302, Lot 1. We needed a third appraisal, and we got a quote from Hendricks Appraisal Company, LLC, in the amount of $6,000. Resolution 19185, undertake the Ramapo River Restoration Project for engineering services for Phase 3, not to exceed $60,975, and all work and paperwork was submitted by Agnoli Engineering. Resolution 19186, appoint a part-time clerk typist, and this is the clerk typist who will be in the construction office. And it is Diane McLean as part-time clerk typist at a rate of $28 per hour, effective June 10th. 19187, and that is authorized co-sponsorship agreement for the 2019 Oakland Carnival between Ramapo Bergen Animal Refuge, Inc. of Oakland, to co-sponsor the Oakland Carnival. Any pull-out? If not, motion?
So moved.
Second? Roll call.
Councilman Bialotti?
Yes.
Councilman Knapp?
Yes.
Councilman Kamala?
Yes.
Councilman Levy?
Yes.
Councilman Pinisali?
Yes.
We don't have any ordinances, work session, property maintenance.
Thank you, Mayor. I covered this in my report that was in your packet too, but I'll just go kind of through where we're at and where we think we need to go. And I think it's clear based on the feedback that you've been getting, that we've been seeing that this continues to grow as an issue in the community, and we want to, take some steps to address it so that the community looks the way we all want it to look and is maintained the way we want it to be maintained. So with our new construction official on board, we've had discussions already. I'm looking and seeing what we can do to change what we currently have and what that would require. So really, it's kind of a three-pronged approach. One of the first steps you already took tonight by the hiring of Ms. McLean, and that is we will probably need some more personnel to effectuate all of this, both on the administrative end and also probably on the inspection end as well, to become a little bit more proactive in terms of not just reacting to complaints that we receive, but also, being able to go around looking, identifying issues, and addressing them up front before they rise to the level of generating complaints to our office. And to that end, the new construction official has already had a conversation with the officer in charge in the police department to enlist the aid of the police department in, being another set of eyes in the community for that, all right? So that's going to be ongoing. Second part of that, and it also ties into why we hired Ms. McLean, is to kind of revamp the administrative system that we use for tracking complaints and following up on notices of violation and the like. Under the previous system, it was basically the property maintenance officer was responsible for all of that. What we're looking to do now is go to a system where the inspectors will have more time to actually do inspections, and the administrative end of it, the preparing of the notices of violation and tracking of all that and following up will be handled by that staff and integrated into the office.
Excuse me, Rich, just a quick question.
Yep.
Are we going to train the police officers, just give them some sort of overview so they know what they're looking for and so they don't waste their time looking at things they shouldn't be?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be things that they see when they're out basically on patrol, so,
Somebody's gonna give them some guidance, these are the things we have to look for.
Right, so here's what the ordinance says, it's high grass, it's dilapidated fences, it's those sort of things.
And we can give fines out per infraction, so actually if there's an infraction, even though the fines are not that steep on a per basis, we're allowed to go back every day, I believe, and until it's mitigated.
Usually, what happens is you give them a notice of violation and they're given a certain period of time to correct it. If they don't, then if summons is, a summons would issue for that.
Until mitigated.
Potentially, yeah.
I think one of the biggest problems we have is with banks that are foreclosed on properties.
Yeah.
People moved out.
Right.
And no one's maintaining the property. I mean, just the grass on Rainbow Valley Road, it's gotta be 3 foot high.
And I have to tell you, I think Pat's right, because, quite honestly, a bank, when it lends money to somebody, part of the risk it assumes is that if there's a default, it's responsible for that property. And I think, especially where there's a bank involved, we should be aggressive about making sure
Well,
they
the
maintain the property.
the problem is we haven't had anybody who really went out and diligently did this. And I am asking all residents.
I've had experience, sure.
I'm asking all residents, if there is someone in your neighborhood or you pass by these properties, we have one inspector who will be going out, he won't be able to cover everything. I've been complaining to Richard about some properties on Andrew Avenue, because there are quite a few houses for sale, and one particular house, there was a broken fence, wasn't cutting the grass, and I couldn't get anybody to go there. Finally, he sent the notice, and the grass is finally cut, and the fence was fixed. But the problem is these people call me and say, how am I supposed to sell my house? They see the street with all this, such bad property maintenance. Why would I want to live on that street?
There's one problem, if the bank is out of state. That's a big problem.
Well, and that's what the office has experienced in the past. A lot of
However.
times, you get.
There's a however.
You get shuffled around.
There's a
but it-
however.
But let me just finish.
The however is, And you know, I prosecute in a lot of municipalities where the inspectors go in, and we have, the inspectors come to court, they give the notice, if the property has not been, if they do not do the repairs or the remediation, the
Yeah.
towns go in
And do
and
it.
then
They
put
do.
a lien
Put a
on the
lien on the
property,
property.
and that's what we can do.
Right, well, and that's, frankly, that has been the route we've been taking, more so than summonses, in order to actually, achieve compliance and remediate those issues. But there's another tool as well, and it's a policy one. We can do an ordinance, a vacant property registration ordinance. The copy of what Franklin Lakes has in place was in your packet, so you can start to read that and what the requirements are. And that requires the banks to provide certain information. It actually gets into a lot of detail. The essential element of it is that these properties have to be registered, information has to be provided, and there is an annual fee for having abandoned vacant property.
I spoke to Greg Hart, the administrator of Franklin Lakes, and that's when he told me they have this very comprehensive code. So I'm asking everybody on the council to review this and give us your feedback on what you think is a way to go. I'm gonna ask some realtors to look at it, to see, and get their feedback on this. And then we're going to sit down and come up with a plan,
We don't
because
have a copy of that, do
Actually,
packet.
it was all in the packet.
we? Oh, in the
computer.
In the computer.
Yeah. So I'll be working with John on moving a lot of these elements
I have a
forward.
paper packet.
And so you'll be seeing this, ordinance in a form for your consideration and adoption, so we can start implementing this
So
here.
please read it and give us any suggestions. Yes.
Okay, I just want to say one thing. I think the mayor hit the nail on the head. I was going to bring it up, but she beat me to the punch. And that is, we're going to deputize every resident of Oakland to be the eyes and ears for your neighborhood. If you see somebody that's not cutting their grass, who's letting their property go down a chute, please give a call to the borough. Call either DPW or call the construction code office. Let them know that your neighbor is defaulting on his responsibility to keep his property up to the state that we expect it to be seen in, because we all live here. And the properties that catch the eye are the properties that are not maintained. So if you see something, say something.
Yes. Eric?
Yeah, Mr. Coons, just a question about this. I'm particularly interested in the abandoned property list part of this. And Mr. Coons, as you know, I went down to see you a couple weeks ago about 2 abandoned properties that are kind of basically falling down. It says here, there's an interesting point in here. It says that any interested party may submit a written request to the mayor and councilor asserting that the property within the borough should be included in the abandoned property list. So can you just expand on this abandoned property list a little bit? Give us some definition.
Honestly, it's still something that I'm learning about. I wanted to get this in front of you so that
Okay.
you could start taking a look at it. One of the things I'll be doing with John next week, because he's been here now, all of
We have a lot of
week.
Johns now we have
I'm sorry,
hired.
John
Can you
Whittakin.
please specify which
John
John you're
Whittakin.
referring to?
That's Yak.
Yes.
Affectionately.
Our new construction official. And we'll be sitting down and going through this in much more detail to understand exactly how it works, what it does, what the effects have been.
All right, I got some markups I'll send to you ready. So.
Please, that would be helpful, thank you.
Thank you.
And then we're going to be meeting with him. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Orange and Rockland rate increase, we have a sample resolution from Wyckoff. I went to the mayor's meeting. As you know, I belong to the Northwest Mayor's Group, and we have meetings on the second Saturday of the month at 8:30 in the morning, and we have representatives from Rockland Electric, and I complained about the high rates since our smart meters came in. And I don't know if everybody has seen an increase in their electric bill, but, I mean, it's crazy. And they said, hard to believe. I should send them my bill and they'll look at it. I said, what do you mean? So everybody in this room is saying their rates went up. Not their rates, but their bills went up. So, and Tom Madigan, the mayor of Wyckoff, said, well, look at this, look at the resolution we passed. And, so that's what the sample is. What do you think? They want more money, Rockland Electric. They want to increase their rates.
Did the rates go up?
I think they have a petition before the BPU.
No, the rates did go up, the prices went, somehow, the rates did not go up, but our bills went up, so I don't know.
I mean, but this is regulated by the BPU, correct?
Yes, this is
They're
for
before the
rates.
BPU.
They are before the BPU right now.
Yes,
Okay.
this is for rates. We don't want,
9.6% increase,
so, would you like us to put this on the next council meeting?
Yes.
definitely.
Okay. Next.
Next is just, we need to decide who on the council wants to continue to serve on the CDBG committee. Right now, that's Councilman Bialy. And also, I think for the first time that they're asking for a council alternate as well, which I don't recall us having before. So you need to decide who wants to be the alternate. On the mayor's side, I serve as the mayor's designee, and I think with the new one, I'll have Michael serve as the alternate.
Do you need a backup, John?
Well, I haven't missed the meeting, so.
Yeah,
not that
it's-
we missed the meeting.
Oh, sorry.
And
It's
right
not a
there in
heavy
white.
workload, so.
Right, and you're right there, so it's perfect. Okay.
I don't think you need it.
Okay, 2019 capital
Or
program.
Lisa, are they requiring an alternate? Somebody to be designated?
All right, Lou, Lou,
Yeah.
you're involved with this.
Not a problem.
Lou will do it, Lou Levy.
Lou, we'll go together next time.
But you're buying dinner.
I figured that was coming.
2019 capital program.
Gallows.
Yeah, they already voted.
You're all red now.
Okay, and the last item is just to recap where we are with the 2019 capital program and solicit any feedback that you have as we move to prepare ordinances for introduction. This is an outgrowth of the annual budget process, as you know. There were a few changes since the draft that we discussed as part of the budget deliberations, which I captured in my memo regarding some changes to the police computer network, the Van Allen House interior renovations, sidewalk repairs, so we could take in a grant that we received from the NJDOT and the like. And so overall, I'm just going to recap, and then if you have any questions, please bring them up and we can discuss them. Total planned cost would be $3,661,750. That would be between both the bond ordinance and capital ordinance. $1,020,275 in capital cash is needed.
How much?
$1,020,275 in capital cash is needed for the fully funded items, down payments, and the contribution to the capital fund for the replacement fire apparatus. And the amount of debt that would be authorized is a few dollars under $2.1 million, and that is net of grants that total $542,000. So you have the whole schedule in the packet, and if there's any items you'd like to discuss, but we're just looking for direction on the preparation of the ordinances for the next meeting.
Yeah, how did we go Van Allen House interior renovation from 25,000 to 265,000?
No, I'm sorry, it was an increase of 25,000. So it was 240, and went up $25,000 to 265,000.
So, I mean, I hope this doesn't put you on the spot, but what are we spending $265,000 on?
That is to renovate the interior of the Van Allen House. That we-
Includes everything, electric, plumbing,
That's-
roof, sheet rock, mold.
pretty much the whole kit and caboodle.
Including the mold remediation?
That's my understanding, yeah.
Did, Rich,
Yeah, because some of that would have to be taken
And
down.
does that
every time
include cost of permits? Because I gotta believe near water, mold, there's gonna be a lot of DEP permits involved.
For the interior on the Van Allen House, no.
No, you don't have to inform us.
No, this is just interior work.
Not for mold remediation?
No.
Okay, good.
I had brought up several months ago, did we ever get an engineering report on the status of the building structurally?
On which building?
Van Allen House?
The Van Allen House? No, we didn't commission an independent engineering report on it. I mean, it's structurally sound. We're doing the exterior work now, and then we would move on with the second, the separate grant that we have from the county to be able to do the interior work.
The roof work is being done now, that's not
Right.
included in this.
Correct. So the second phase of the exterior work is underway.
And that's not included in this 265?
Correct,
That's different.
correct. That one is for the interior.
That's a lot of money, 265.
Well, we're asking the Historic Society they were supposed to,
Fundraiser.
do a fundraiser or to redo their website to encourage members to help.
Have you heard back from them?
After we met with them?
Yeah.
No, I was going to give a check to join the Historic Society. They said, oh, no, they have to redo their application. So they didn't even take my money.
I'm open if you want to write me a check. I don't have an application, I just take PayPal.
I would like to see the Historic Society do some fundraising. I mean, $265,000, I understand work needs to be done there, it really does, but
Yeah,
Well-
bear in mind that
it's a ton of money.
the or over 50% of that is covered by the grants that we have for it.
Oh,
But they also
50% of
don't-
the 265?
Well, we have 150,000 in grants going towards that project.
Oh, so we're not spending 265?
No, well,
No, we
no,
got
it's
more than half.
total
And the
projected.
Historic
budget.
Society doesn't have that many members, and so they have to go out and solicit membership.
I thought the 265 was coming out of our budget.
No.
Oh, thank God. Okay,
Now you can have fun.
I feel a lot better.
Okay,
Now
now
you
we
can
could
have
sleep
fun.
tonight.
Hey,
All right.
Mr. Coons, another question?
Yes.
How come the computer project for the police department almost went up 100%? What happened?
Well, as I had explained, they kept doing research into what exactly the scope was going to be and what they were going to need, and that was the revised cost estimate that they provided,
Who provided?
the police department provided.
There are certain things that they have to maintain legally and for security.
So an additional $80,000.
Eric, if you like, I can get everybody details on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big jump.
Yeah.
Well, we have a public safety meeting coming up. That, Councilman
No,
Knapp?
that's for hiring the police officers.
Yeah, I know, but he could find out by then.
Okay.
Oh, you're on the committee.
I know, but I'm saying, I thought that was specifically
It
to
is.
interview people.
It is. Anything else? Okay. New business. Anybody have any new business? If not, old business. If not, committee reports. Councilman Kamala.
Mr. Talamini gave me a report for his two committees under the schools. He just wants everybody to know that the last day of school is June 21st, and the graduation will be celebrated on June 19th at 5:30 PM at Indian Hills High School. For his public events report, he wants to just remind everybody the carnival is tonight, starts tonight, 6 to 10 PM. Wristbands will be on sale for $25 for Wednesday and Thursday. If you buy it on Friday or Saturday, it goes up to $30. I also want to remind everybody that the fireworks are Friday night, with the rain date being Saturday. And also for the fireworks, there will be 2 shuttle buses that will be going back and forth between the Copper Tree Mall and the rec field. For my report, this is a pretty extensive report for rec. The last week of football signups prior to the late, we're currently, I'm sorry, let me start again. This is the last week for football signups prior to the late fee being assessed. Football is seeing some of its highest registration numbers ever, and it's also worthy to note that other towns are seeing their teams go down, and Oakland just continues to grow. So, I mean, the rec and the football program is really doing a wonderful job, so good job to the rec committee. Also, soccer signups are ongoing, which will include a late sign-up fee until June 30th. Anyone who wishes to register after June 30th will be placed on a wait list, so please sign up by 30th, otherwise your child might not make it on a team if you're put on a wait list. Cheerleading signups will continue until June 30th. After June 30th, there will be a late fee charged for the registration, so get your cheerleaders signed up by June 30th. There are also many summer sports camps, clinics being offered, including volleyball, softball, basketball, baseball, football, and cheer. For information about these summer camps, they may be found on the Oakland Rec website, which is www.oaklandrec.org. That's www.oaklandrec.org. There's also a new program that's been introduced. It's called Competitive Cheer. Tryouts will be held this weekend. but you must be registered to participate in the regular cheerleading program, and also need to submit your tryout registration form by Thursday, June 14th. That's Thursday, June 14th. And once again, further information can be found on the rec website. Also, there's a celebration this Monday, June 17th, at the Oakland Sports Hall of Fame ceremony. This year's inductees include Kevin Cleary, Paul Marquezal, and Bobby Calderon. The event starts at 6 p.m. and will be held on the outfield of Field 7. In case of rain, it will be held inside the Danny D. building. Lastly, the Rec Commission worked with the Public Events Committee to shut down all activities that would directly affect the carnival parking capability. Because of this, tennis courts are locked up tonight through Saturday morning at 6 a.m., and Field 5 will be shut down after 7 p.m. tonight. Also, I'm also happy to let everybody know that the bids have gone out for the hockey rink, and we expect to open them sometime in July. So the hockey rink is finally out to bid and moving along. And I have one other piece here, I believe. No, that's it. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Councilor Biella?
Thank you, Mayor. Council update report for seniors, beginning in June, and we're there now. There's a weekly Monday movie at 1:30 p.m. A flyer with the weekly Monday movie schedule can be picked up at the Senior Center, is also available on the Borough website. The Senior Center has an email list, which I've reported on every month. This will be my last sounding on it. For any resident interested in joining the mailing list, please reach out to Ariel in person, via phone, or via email at seniors@oakland-nj.org to be added to the email list. The weekly walking club continues every Tuesday during the months of May and June, starting at 9:30 a.m., weather permitting. Each walk will last about 30 minutes, and there will be a special guest from town on each walk. Just stop in Ariel's office and let her know you're attending, or give her a call at 201-405-7731. Finally, everyone is asked to save the date for the start of the Summer Bash and line dancing class on June 20th at 12 p.m. A barbecue lunch will be provided, and registration for this event will begin on June 1st, so it's already begun. Council update report for the DPW. The milling and paving on all streets associated with the 2018 road projects have been completed, and the paving contractor is putting the finishing touches and detailing. Residents may notice the contractor working on the line striping and storm drain inlets this week or early next week, but this work will not cause traffic delays. Under the direction of the Oakland Shade Tree Commission, the DPW has already planted 40 of the 56 new shade trees throughout the borough. The volunteers of the Oakland Shade Tree Commission had diligently selected the locations throughout the borough to plant these beautiful trees. Special thanks to Shade Tree Commissioner Ed Clark for developing this year's project.
And they're fantastic liaison.
Oh, I forgot about, and Lou. Lou is the liaison. On Monday, May 17th, the Water Department employees will begin their annual fire hydrant flushing program. Every borough-owned fire hydrant will be flushed, pressure tested, and inspected during the process. The project will run through the months of June, July, and August. If residents have any questions, please call the DPW at 201-337-8103, extension 3001. Also on Monday, June 17th, our Public Works employees will begin working with Wind River Environmental Inspection Company on a project designed to inspect and video record all the borough-owned sanitary sewer lines located within our 3 sewer service areas. The project will identify specific locations where groundwater may be infiltrating our wastewater collection system, along with identifying areas that may require future maintenance work. Streets included in this project are Mountain Lakes Road, Chapel Hill Road, Lakeside Boulevard, Kiowa Terrace, Cayuga Avenue, Geronimo Way, Massasoit Trail, West Sheffield Street, and Academy Circle. Sewer service will not be interrupted during this inspection process. Just want to let you know, as Rich indicated before, work has begun on the exterior of the Van Allen House, and we also are getting we're getting our bid process ready for the dismantling of the stream house, correct, Rich?
Yeah. It's moving along. There
It's
is,
moving along. So
right now,
we're-
the engineer that Margaret's working with is trying to cost out what that permitting part is going to be, so they can submit a revised proposal to us.
We will let you know when it's coming down.
I think we're going to have a big party that day.
All
Okay,
right.
that's my report, Mayor. Thank you.
Councilman Vitale?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I don't have I do not have much to report tonight, except I did attend the Sustainable Oakland Green Team meeting on May the 28th. The things we went over were the Styrofoam Business Program, the Anti-Idle Program, the Plastic Film Collection, Roots for Rivers Wrap-Up, Butterfly Waste Station Planting, and other environmental items. They also reported that we have 245 points towards the bronze. Silver would be 350 points, which we may not have enough time to accumulate those points. However, there may be an extension on the filing date for programs, which we're going to look into, and if that's the case, we will be a lot closer.
Good, that'd be great.
And you attended an environmental meeting. And you had two special guests there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What, do we chop liver in there?
What's going on here, Pat?
Our team, man.
I had magnesia, I'm sorry. Yes, we had two special visitors. You know what it is, John? The same people on the green team as on the environmental teams. So I don't know which meeting I'm at anymore. But anyway.
You're in council meeting,
Yeah,
right?
well, I know.
Mayor and council, you got elected.
Yes, Councilman Bialy and Councilman Kumala came to the Environmental Commission meeting to answer questions on different programs in the town. They were very satisfied. They did an excellent job.
Oh, very nice, John.
Even
Good
after the
going.
meeting, they all commented on, they're really open, forthcoming with all the information, and they really appreciate you coming. Thank you again.
Excellent.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry that I
Snubbed you.
snubbed you, but
Forgot about you.
it was not done intentionally, believe me.
All right, is that it?
That's it, thank you,
Wow,
Mayor.
Councilman Levy?
Thank you, Mayor. The Shade Tree Commission met on the first Monday of the month. One of the, projects that we're working on right now, actually, I'm sorry Peter Keycott left. He's working on rewriting our borough shade tree ordinances to make them a little more green and a little more practical for use within the borough. We're gonna probably, I think by the end of the next meeting, Brian, we're gonna have something to put in front of you to get your intake or input on it. I know. Flood
And-
Commission met the second Monday.
And could you talk to them about, you have to look at the chart because of the openings
Oh,
and the alternate.
Yes.
Thank you.
Flood Commission met on the second Monday of the month. We did not have a quorum. But one of the things we were just casually discussing, because there was no quorum, we want to remind everybody, number one, that the Flood Commission actually could use some new members. We're short about, I believe, 2 right now. So if anybody wants to join the Flood Commission, they would be very happy to have you. More importantly, as the Flood Commission periodically walks, down the river and down some of the waterways, we are seeing a lot of evidence of stream dumping. It's past my bedtime. And, one of the things that happens when people take their grass clippings, their leaves, and they dump them over an embankment, it's not just that it starts to contaminate the waterway. It breaks down the embankment, and the banks start to destabilize. And if you look at the Ramapo River right now, there's areas where these huge shoals are, these buildup of land. That's all from embankments denigrating into the stream, and they wind up collecting. And it's quite frankly against the law. I believe our borough ordinance says it's between a $25 and $200 fine for every infraction. So what that means is if you're caught dumping into a stream, the borough can fine you $25 to $200 per day until you mitigate the damage that you've done. And that fine, and really it's gonna get a little more serious August 28th. The Department of Environmental Protection is reclassifying the Ramapo River and any tributary directly running into it as a C1 waterway. So that's what we've been talking about a few times here. That means that from the bank, from the lip of the bank, perpendicular back 300 feet, that is going to be the new riparian zone. You will not be able to do anything to disturb any dirt within that area other than do repairs to existing structures. So, for example, my driveway will be in the riparian zone of a C1 waterway. I can repair it, I can't make it bigger. So that's very important for everybody to understand. We're not, permits and things like that get much, much, much more complicated when you're dealing with the C1 waterway. So we definitely want everybody to, bear in mind, or keep that in mind as they move forward this summer. If you have any questions, you can contact Nick Agnoli, who is our Borough Floodplain Manager, and is also infinitely more knowledgeable on these things than I am. And Shade Tree's meeting the first Monday of the coming month. Flood Commission will be meeting the second Monday of the coming month, those both at the conference room at Borough Hall. And the planning board will be meeting here at this same place tomorrow night. So
But it's earlier than the council
Tom
meeting.
Connolly will be there, the mayor will be there, I will be there,
And
John Yakimic will be there. It'll be exciting.
And our newest member.
Oh, and our newest member, Andrea Levy will be there.
Who's
so.
not related to Lou Levy.
I know, now this looks like some sort of nepotism thing, doesn't it?
But you're not related.
Well, it's the optics, it's optics.
Well, there are people that have same names.
Dr. Knapp?
I'm not related.
You want to be.
No, I really don't. All right, I'm going to be a lot quicker than my neighbor.
For once, thank God.
Public safety, I do my public safety reports at the second meeting of every month, but as you heard, we are having a meeting next week to interview 3 police candidates that we'd like to put on, hire, and get into July's police academy. So that will be our public safety meeting of the month. Municipal Alliance has not met. Great Oak Park, I have a report here that says the Park Committee is working through and with the borough and has begun the process to purchase the band shell for the Great Oak lawn, which is looking outstanding.
Wow, it's going to be great.
Thank God for rain, huh? Great Oak Park as well has begun the beginning stages that will redo Muller's parking lots, meaning the paving of the deteriorated part of parking lot that exists that we're permitted to repave. I spoke about the police, I spoke about Great Oak, I spoke about Municipal Alliance.
Being related to me.
Not.
Anything about the fire department?
They've got red trucks.
No, I know we had, I don't have anything on the fire department currently. I think that's my only thing. I got a text from my mother, by the way, who apparently has nothing to do, so I have to wave hello, because she's in Florida and watching this on YouTube, so there must be nothing
Oh,
on
what
television.
did she have to say about the meeting?
She said, I'm watching you on TV. I go, boring night? She says, no, very interesting.
Okay.
Hi, Barbara. Okay.
Hi, Mrs. Knapp.
Hi, Mrs. Knapp.
So that is, I thought I had one more thing. Anyway, that's all I can remember.
Okay, with that, I'll entertain a motion to open to the public.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Now we get some. I didn't say that either.
Mike Guadagnino, 34 Hopper Street. I just want to thank you for approving the grant for the tennis courts. I just would like to just explain a little bit, take a moment, just explain a little bit. There was a gentleman in the audience last time who didn't understand this at all, so I just want to explain. There are no structural faults with the court. After 5 to 10 years, and this court's been there for 10 years, you're required to do some work on it. What happens is that the posts that hold the nets, what happens is they move over time, and microfractures develop, and at times the fractures get bigger. The court begins to wear. So the Recreation Commission's responsibility is to maintain these things, so this court doesn't become the damage that was there 12, 11, 10 years ago. So we're just basically doing the maintenance on this court. And that's what we're doing. We're paying for it with half of it from a grant, the other half of it from the trust account. We're not coming there asking the taxpayers to pay for this maintenance.
Right.
And it's a maintenance issue, which is really just a maintenance, a 10-year-old court now. And in 15 years, it's gonna be 25 years when courts start
And do you
breaking
know why
things
the
down.
poles move? To hold up the net? Because too many people are hitting the ball into the net.
Probably, yeah.
Either that or maybe for me trying to jump the net.
Oh, that could do it too.
Mike, how many people take out badges and belong?
I don't have the numbers for that, but I can figure it out and do quick math. I'm not that good at math. We
It's
collect
late,
about
Doug.
$10,000 a year in badge fees. So
Which is
$20 a
bad.
fee, so you figure a lot.
$5 for a badge?
No, it's like
Oh, I think you
25.
said $5. Oh.
It's like 25, right?
I think it's 25 for residents.
25 for resident, it's like double for someone who's not a resident, and the child is less.
About
So it's-
400.
Yeah, it gets a lot of use, the courts do get a lot of use.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
by the schools will call us up and say, could we bring a team down? So a couple of recreation programs, so the courts get a lot of use. But again, this grant will pay for the resurfacing, basically just a maintenance thing that needs to be done. Otherwise, in 15 years, the court will be a disaster, and we'll be back to where we were, which we never want to do again.
But it also creates safety problems.
Mike,
Yeah,
Sure.
I'm sorry, what was the total for the courts? I'm sorry, I don't recall.
$65,000.
So that's $6,500 a year, that's the maintenance cycle on it, that's not really out of whack. And how many courts are there?
6.
6 courts.
So it's like $1,000 for
Right,
a
it's
quarter.
$1,000 a court a year. I'm sure the badges alone probably.
Oh, yeah, and the trust will, yeah,
Right.
the trust will cover this. Again,
But
it's paid for, not being paid by taxpayers, it's
Right.
being paid for, and
That's
it's not
what it
a
is.
structural deficiency that occurred from something that happened years ago. This is just a maintenance thing that needs to be done 5 to 10 years, and we're at 10 years now.
Everything has, and anything constructed has a maintenance cycle. I mean, John Yakimic and I have been talking about, bridge maintenance cycles.
Oh, must we?
No. So, really, the bang for the buck here is pretty good.
I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
don't have to worry about that.
Oh, darn.
Thank you, Linda, I really appreciate it. Very wonderful well.
I haven't seen you in a while.
Don Senna, 47 Thackeray Road. At the last council meeting, you told me that the council needed to discuss the school board election date in executive session. That was 3 weeks ago. Did you discuss it?
No, we have not.
When will you discuss it?
Remember I said earlier that the public
Linda,
portion
you-
is not a debate? We will let you know.
You cannot just push me off.
Why not?
Because I'm not gonna let you push me
Oh,
off.
okay.
It's not fair.
I
for
listen,
this
I
council
agree
to-
with you.
I don't care. It's not fair for this council to just say, I'm not gonna deal with an issue of taxpayer money. Over $20,000.
All right,
to get
Mr. Kunz,
477
could you
votes.
please put this on the agenda for the next meeting?
But there's one item that we did not bring out to you the last time you were here.
Okay.
The Board of Ed did a survey. 852 people responded. 582 people want the election to stay in April.
But they don't bother to vote.
That's right, more people.
Doesn't matter.
400
You're one
only
person.
All right, all right.
I haven't seen,
All
I
right,
haven't
it's
seen
not
a
for
lot of
debate.
people come to the council meeting other than you, wanting to
This is
change
go-
April. These
all
are
right.
I wanna change.
580, almost 600 people wanted to stay in April.
Councilman Pignatelli,
Yes.
I am asking to put this on the agenda for next meeting
Thank you.
for discussion.
Okay.
And we invite anybody who wants to come and speak about this, whether or not to put this on, we can put this on as a referendum.
I think that's what we should do. Put it on as a referendum. Let the people decide.
In November.
Yes.
Where
Well, I
you
don't know if
get-
we have enough time
Will
this
you
this
get
November.
2,000?
No, we do have enough time. We have until August.
Will you get 2,000 votes in the regional school board versus 477 in the local school board? 4 times as many votes.
All right, we are putting this on the agenda for the next meeting.
Thank you.
So come to the next meeting.
I will.
Okay, good.
Thank you, Don.
Anyone else? If not, motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Bills to be paid. Since Russell Talmini's not here, the other member of the Finance Committee is.
Oh, that's me.
That is you.
We have $598,859.38 in the current fund. Total bills paid already this year is $703,929.69. Total bills to be paid, $462,951.47.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Bialy?
Yes.
Councilman Net?
Yes.
Councilman Kamala?
Yes.
Councilman Muse?
I guess, yes.
Councilman Pianitelli?
Yes.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Mayor, I
So
have one thing here. This just popped into my email. I was just showing Mr. Bialy. Apparently, from Josh Gottheimer's desk, the Hometown Heroes nominations are due by Monday, the 17th.
It didn't just come in the email now, it's been on the email
Yeah.
a while already, and I asked everybody to submit a name. Unfortunately, Pat just gave me a name after we already submitted.
I apologize.
That's okay. So, Richard,
Yes.
we are submitting Jim Folkerts,
Yeah, I think there were two people, right? Jim
right,
and,
from the Sports
Karen.
Association.
Right.
And I already spoke to Mike about the third person.
Can we add a third?
As long as my office gets the information, we can prepare the application, sure.
All right, so Councilman, that's your job. And it has been a while on the email, so it just didn't happen. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Oh, aye.
Next meeting is June 26th, and Don, on the agenda will be a discussion.
What did I do my cover?